No, I don't think so. We're live. All right. What's up, everybody? It's Saltiest Gaming, and we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Streamlabs updated, and it didn't notify me. It didn't ask me. It's not like, hey, bro, this is consensual. We're just going to force update your ass, and I was stuck there.
You got
right?
update rape.
Yeah, I got update rape.
Update rape. He said, oh my God.
Dude. So that's how we started off, man.
Rape.
On a day with so much going on in the gaming world. Oh my God. Today of all days, I was, up in the Twitterverse, and all of a sudden we get boom, breaking news, So we're going to definitely get into that, but we got some topics that we're going to go over first. Let's start off with our guest tonight. We got a returning guest. He's So Shady of the Sesh Empire. Good to have you back, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing damn good, man. And it is awesome to be back. I've been looking forward to it since the last show. I got to say, I'm a fan of the program, big fan of the chat. And, for those that are fans of me, fans of RDX, they might have known I didn't make it onto the show this week. So I've been clamoring to get onto something and talk to the community. And after today's news, woo! I'm excited. Thanks for that invite, man. I was out having a smoke. I looked up, saw the salt signal. I'm here.
Awesome. It's good to have you, man. Next up, we got Mustache Ride 69. How's it going, my dude? I know you're happy about this week. I know it.
Yes, that was definitely some. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. You get it out now, bro. Get it out now. For y'all who must know, I didn't shout out Nintendo Direct, and you gotta.
You guys are fraud.
If you gotta know, and it's like this got like a cow shoved up his ass or something. I don't know what happened there.
Don't
moving
trust
forward.
him ever. Backstabber.
Keep it going. You done?
All right, so I'm gonna shout out the Patreon supporters real quick. We got AshtreyGaming, the Blue One. We got Lex Hazard, Timothy Dixon, Michael Monkey Punch, and Z Black Rider. Appreciate you guys. Sponsors of the channel are the Indie Gamer and Z Black Rider. Appreciate everybody that's here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. It's gonna be an awesome time.
We need more patrons.
Let's
be real about that.
Jeez,
We need more patrons. Everybody, if you like the channel and you like what Salty does, click that Patreon link.
Mm-hmm. So Nick, while you're talking, we want to tell everybody where they can find you. We're trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark for Nintendo Direct. He does amazing content. He's been putting out videos like it's going out of style. Where can people find you, man? What's your story? Dude?
Keep him at 999 to unsubscribe. Subscriber dudes.
Well, you can find me at youtube.com/Nintendo Direct, and you can also find me at twitter.com/Nintendo Direct, at Nintendo Direct. And I'll let you guys know, but unlike Punk Kiddish, he doesn't know what my Twitter handle is. So, Punk, I'll remind you, it's at Nintendo Direct, my dude.
I already lost that shit.
Oh my God. You guys need to kiss and make up, my dudes. Next up, we got Titan Drago. He's sick with the plague. He caught something from his kids. They brought it home from school. It was a late Christmas present. Titan Drago, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what's up, everyone? A little sick, under the weather. I have no energy, but some news went down, to say the least. Okay,
yes.
So I'm in overdrive right now, fueled only by gaming news. So I'm ready, and I hope you guys are too.
It's the best.
You're tired.
It's the best fuel,
Then you're gonna have a rant, and all of a sudden you're gonna be energized. I'm waiting for it.
It's true. Once you get that. The Xbox news going through your veins, you're going to be good to go. And then we got the boom kaboom in the room. It's Noof. What's going on, man?
That's right, people. Yes, second week now. I am back, and it is good to be here. This is going to be a lit podcast tonight. Poor old Titan Drago, he sounds like he's been licking the fucking green off of the pickle jar right now, but I'm sure he'll get okay. But there's a couple of good topics kind of went down over the last day or so, day in particular. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it. And of course, always good to have So Shady with us as well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time, guys. Hang on to your pantyhose.
All right, I want to shout some early people out because I appreciate all you guys. Let's start from the beginning. Tryhard Fan, Dravenero, you guys were here first. Who else do we got here? Hi into Den, Christina. Timothy Dixon, Yobi Dren, what's going on, man? Siberia, the Sea of Thieves master. He's almost a pirate legend. The indie gamer all the way from UK. Mighty Ryan. Who else do we got here? I appreciate all you guys, man.
In the chat.
Yes, Jakin. Dennis Haas, Spider-Man. Thanks for coming in here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like I said, the like button, share it out. Let's do this. Let's get into our first topic. We got an interesting, it's not really a topic. It is a topic, but it's kind of a thought-provoking thing. So we're going to get into it.
It's a warm-up.
Yeah, it's a warm-up. I want everybody in the chat to participate as well. It's pretty cool. I saw this by GameSpot. Shout out to them. They tweeted this out. They said, if you could travel back in time and show yourself one game from the future, which game would you pick to blow your young mind? Sounds weird, right? So if I guess I'll go last or first. It doesn't matter. Whoever wants to jump in. We'll go with our guest first, Shady. If you could travel back in time using the DeLorean, what would you show yourself?
I'm going to take the easy one. Red Dead Redemption 2.
I knew it. I was gonna say, don't say Red Dead. It's too easy.
Yeah, I gotta make the first one. So now you guys gotta really think on it, because my God, it's mind blowing to me today. If I went back when I had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, and you dropped that on someone, and then you just let them see it, and then you took them away. I mean, I'd probably go and hang myself as a kid because I couldn't play it. But I had no idea. I did not expect us to be at the level of gaming we are as quick as we are.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. So that's my pick.
It's like when you take a step back and you actually look at where you guys are, where you're at with technology and everything else. It just it's crazy. We are in the future, but we're just there, so you don't really see it. Punk, what would you show yourself? It sounds weird, but like, what would you?
What would I show myself?
What would you show yourself?
Nah, if I had to choose one, I'd probably have to go with The Last of Us. Game was phenomenal. I had a blast playing it.
Nice. Titan Drago, what would you go back in time and show yourself?
You know what? I've got a weird sense of humor, so I would probably mess with myself a little bit, and I'd show myself like Super Lucky's Tale or something like that, and like, look, 4K graphics, buddy, look at that, and you'd buy it as a little kid, and you'd probably think it was awesome too, because you think about a Super Lucky's Tale, even though it's a cartoon, it still looks a lot better than Mario did back in the day,
And show them Dead Cells as the joke, so it's like graphics are still pixels, guy. You're not getting...
Show them Celeste. This is Game of the Year nominee for
2018.
Show them Below.
Yeah, show them below. Oh man, Noof, what would you show yourself?
Well, my pick is about as easy as your mama on payday, and that is going to be Gears of War, baby. Gears of War. Woo! That is the game. Because I'm telling you, I can still go back and play the original Gears and still be impressed by that shit. That game blew my mind when it came out, and especially the updated edition. But man, just the original Gears of War, those characters, those ravens, the action, the locust holes, you name it, man. Shit was going down with that sucker, and I've been a big Gears fan ever since. So Gears of War for me, I bet you that would blow my little fucking perverted fucking old mind if I went back in the day.
Which one would you bring back? Would you bring back the 360 original, or would you bring back like Gears 5?
No, I want to go with the original, just because the original at the time was
we can do originals?
The groundbreaking game, man. The original groundbreaking game was such a big game for me when it came out.
Would you do the remastered version of the original, or just the regular? Now we're getting technical, right?
I'll go with the remaster, I guess. Okay. But I mean, overall, it's still a phenomenal game. Still one of the best in the franchise.
Chat. I'm just trying to look out for his young mind. That's all.
That's right. Chat, let us know, man. You guys are being quiet there. What would your game be that you'd show yourself? Well, let's talk about it. If you're catching this on the replay, let us know in the chat, the comment section. Nintendo Direct, what would you show yourself?
Oh man, this one's tough because Noof had to go ahead and bring out Gears, and he had to say the original. I may have to, if we have to go recently, I'm gonna have to go Breath of the Wild, but all time probably Mass Effect 2. That would be the game that I'd show myself, because Mass Effect 2 blew my mind when it came out then. And if I could go back and show it to my younger self, like, yo, this is what we're gonna be playing in the future, my younger self would have just passed out. So probably have to be Mass Effect.
Yeah, what's weird is I just got done playing Quantum Break, and there's like time loops in there, and they say you can't really change the past or the future, but like whatever's set is set. So maybe we went back in time and showed ourselves these games. No, let's talk about. I didn't give you mine, so I'm gonna give you guys mine. I would say Breath of the Wild, because that thing, graphically, it looks like. it's not like the best graphical looking thing, but man, as an open world showcase and what that game does. And if I went back and showed myself Zelda, let's say, even if I picked 64, if I was playing a 64 back then, I'd be like, what? Zelda goes from this to this, and you can play it portable and this and that, and it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
My mind would be blown, you know?
Yeah.
I almost want to change
Zelda be my second one.
Star Wars Battlefront, man.
Ooh.
Going back with the little kid with
Ooh,
that.
you know what?
I would have had a heart
That's a
attack.
good one.
I think it would have killed
That's a
me.
good one.
So I don't know.
Just don't tell your younger self there's loot boxes in it, but just tell them like, look at how far. just be like, but look at how far graphics have. You know what? That game is like, it is visually mind blowing when you look at it.
It
you
is.
Play it, you're like, holy crap! I'm actually in Star Wars now. Granted, it's unbalanced and all the other stuff, but yeah, visually wise, yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, you put it up there with some of the best looking games of the generation. You know, what other? I mean, Hellblade looks phenomenal too, man.
Hellblade, Doom.
There's
been a couple, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God
Did you
of
see what,
War, Spider-Man.
Fallout 76.
Well, take it this way. You know, even if you showed yourself like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and said, "Hey, there's 100 people in this game at one time," your mind would be blown then too.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Did you see what Cybergunter says? What game would you not show yourself? Like some real done.
Fallout 76.
How about if they're like in the future you can do farming simulator? I'm like, what the fuck?
The calling.
Terrible.
The calling.
The future
Stay
of gaming
away
is
from the
not
calling.
looking bright.
Salty, that's one thing you really, really need to do is go back in time and tell your young self, don't buy the calling. Like that's something you should do.
Seriously,
Like,
like there's lots of mistakes that I would change, but yeah, like don't play Ark as much, I guess.
Oh my gosh, right? Don't play Ark.
Yeah.
I tried to show my younger self PUBG, but unfortunately, he got tired of waiting for the textures to dry in.
He's like, these textures look the same as the 64. Like, what's going on here? This future sucks. Yeah.
The water and Sea of Thieves.
The water and Sea of Thieves.
That's pretty funny, dude.
That's the comment of the night for sure. Yeah, dude. So that the little primer get us started. Something cool. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, damn, that is a good question right there for gamers. So just a little thought-provoking thing. If you're watching this on the replay, hit in the comment section. I will respond to as many as I can. So let's get into the next topic. Resident Evil 2 Remake 30-minute demo is out, apparently. I saw, who was it? There's someone on Twitter that was downloading.
Playing it today. I don't know how the fuck you got it, but yeah.
So
you change the region of your Xbox and you can grab that, but I don't recommend that to people. I'm thinking if you actually dig into the terms of service on Xbox, they say don't be doing that stuff. So
anything
at your own risk.
Yeah, anything that could like brick my Xbox or like screw me out of my like gamer score or anything like that, I'm not down. We got Jay Fonzarelli in the chat. What's going on, man? Yeah, dude. Oh man! All right, so Resident Evil 2. I really want to play it, but I've said it didn't make my top 5 most anticipated games for quarter one, and quarter one is a specific. It's like January to March or something like that. But it does look good, and it's going to be an awesome game in my opinion. Resident Evil 7 was amazing, and I bought that one late, and luckily I got that 4K patch, so I'm gonna be able to play that as well. Are you guys super hyped for Resident Evil 2? I know it's on lots of people's lists based off of the comment section that they're responding. Why did you have Resident Evil 2 on your list? All that other stuff. Let's start with Noof. Are you gonna be downloading this demo? Are you excited for the game? Are you gonna buy it?
I'll probably try the demo. I've already got the game pre-ordered. So yes, I'm excited for it, but I can't say it's like blowing my mind excited. I'd be more excited if this was Resident Evil 8 as opposed to Resident Evil 2, the remake or the remaster or whatever the fuck this game is. But it does look really cool. It looks like they put a lot of heart and soul into it. Graphically it's looking outstanding. So, and it still stands. That was one of the better games in the series, aesthetically, story-wise, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Can't wait to try the demo. I think you just got 30 minutes to play it however the hell you want. You want to play it fast, you want to play it slow, whatever, man. Just get in there and do it.
Demo.
I'll be trying it tomorrow, I guess, as soon as it becomes available on Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network.
It's an interesting way to go about it. Honestly, I think it's smart because you can get people a taste. It's like a drug dealer. Hey, you want a taste, kid? Or and they try it and they get hooked. and then they buy it, and it's only a 30-minute demo, so you can't just play it over and over. Just jump in. Let's go with our guest. I know you're going to be playing this, right? You're super excited.
I am super excited. I was big into Resident Evil when it first came out way back in the day, and Resident Evil 2 was my favorite. The series kind of dropped off for me after Code Veronica on the Dreamcast, but I really liked what 7 had to offer, that first-person aspect, a little bit more westernized storytelling, if you will. I like that, and this uses the same engine, which is beautiful. Oh my God, is it a stunning looking engine? And this isn't just like a lot of other games with just like a new coat of paint. This is like a full-blown remake. They're going to have, I think, more nostalgia, if you will, than they are exact same situations going on there for a lot of people, which I'm looking forward to. And the level of violence from what I've seen in this game is what I have been waiting this whole damn gen for. Yep. Because it's zombies, it's no holds barred, and like every single bullet is tearing into their bodies, bullet holes through their cheeks, skin is flapping and hanging, gross cuts and gashes. Every single zombie is also unique, I guess. I think from what I've heard, they're all unique. They're wearing different types of clothes. The way that they're rotting out from their zombiness is a little bit unique as well. They have different faces, like all the kind of things that you want to start seeing in every game. This game seems to be bringing to the table. So I'm mad hyped to play the demo myself. If I can only play 30 minutes on my one profile, I'll be making stock accounts until the game launches myself.
Awesome. Chat, hit us with the one if you're excited about Resident Evil 2. Double Barrel, I will send you that link real quick and get you in here, my dude. Titan, what do you think, man? Did you play Resident Evil 2 back in the day? Are you excited for this?
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm with Nuth, unfortunately, on this because I want to disagree with them in debate. I think it'll be fun for everyone, but like you said, I beat it before back in the day, and I don't like to replay one and dones. It's a me thing, but it's a big thing. I've heard women say that about other people, so yeah, no thanks.
What about you, Nick?
Was never a big fan of Resident Evil. But if since there's a demo, I mean, why not try the demo and see if I do like it? So I'll probably do that. But I've never been a big fan of Resident Evil. Just never have been. So that's just me.
Yeah, it's the zombie genre, or the horror genre. You're not a big fan of?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the horror zombie thing, period. So yeah, it just never did grab me. So, but I'll try the demo because I mean, if it looks great and and what Shady said, if I can see all the detail of the zombies getting tore up, I'll play that for 30 minutes. Like, let's go.
Hey, Punk, what about you, man?
Believe it or not, I'm with Nick on this one. Believe it or not, even though he hates me. I'm not a huge Resident Evil dude myself, personally. I did play the 5th one on 360. I actually enjoyed it. It's kind of fun. But besides that, man, the game just really doesn't do it for me. It's not my genre of game. I enjoy zombies, but something about Resident Evil just doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Punk and Nintendo don't like to change the sheets in the morning.
I mean,
what the hell are you doing every night? You got to change it.
Right.
Like,
hey, we got my buddy in here, Double Barrel, Mr. Boomstick. What's going on, man? Great surprise.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, you know what? The wife went to sleep a little early. I figured I had some time. I set my room up for tomorrow's breakfast at Boom, and I figured, you know what? Let me see if they need one more guy on this.
Heck yeah. Hey, nice. You're the man to talk to when it comes to Resident Evil 2, man. What's up? Like, what's your hype level for this, man?
Dude, it's 15 out of 10. Woo. Yeah, let me just say this. Anyone that knows me and I have a lot of friends that are still in the gaming. Resident Evil 2 in particular, the 1998 version, is my number one game of my 40+ year career of gaming. And I have beaten it 20 times on just about every console you could name. I beat it 20 times on the PS1. I beat it on the N64. I beat it on the PC. Wherever I can get my hands on it, I beat it. I mean, just so many times. I know the ins and outs, which is why I'm really excited to play the 2019 version, because even though it's when it was first announced, it was called the Resident Evil 2 remake. It really is just a reimagining, and everything is designed from the ground up. Sure, there's Mr. X is there, the alligator is there, the police station is it looks very similar, but there's so many different things about it, and I'm excited for that because I'm going to be able to kind of relive Resident Evil 2 in a way that we didn't expect. I mean, when they first said they were going to do this, no one knew exactly what they were going to do. And I heard Shady talking about the 30-minute. You know, listen, here's the thing. This is either going to go one or two ways for Capcom. It's either going to piss a lot of people off because you can only get 30 minutes, or it's going to be the greatest marketing ploy this side of Texas, because people are going to play for 30 minutes and people are just going to be like, holy shit, this is the greatest game I've ever played. I have to get it. And sales are going to go through. I can see that we're going to, I think because I think it's coming out on PC as well. I think that the 3 platforms within the first month, you'll get 3 to 4 million copies, maybe even 5 million copies of this game sold.
So real quick, what draws you to Resident Evil specifically? Because, you know, there's a lot of zombie games out there, horror games. Like, what is it about Resident Evil that kind of sets it apart from the field, would you say?
You know, for me, I guess maybe it had a lot to do with the fact that my prior career, I was a cop, right? So I always imagine that if this shit ever hit the fan, this is what it would be like. I was always infatuated with Resident Evil as a franchise. I mean, you know, I go back to, you know, I mean, if you remember growing up with your friends, anyone on this panel remember this, that when you were younger and someone would get a game, it would always be that one person that got a new game. It wasn't everybody like it is now. And everyone from the block or your building or your neighborhood would pile up into one room and just sit there and watch the one guy play this amazing game. And that's how it was for me and my brother Neo Mental and a bunch of our friends growing up, that we all piled into his room, and we all sat there in complete awe watching Resident Evil 1. And then when Resident Evil 2 came out, my God, it just was, I guess maybe because it was you know, the fact that you were a police officer, the fact that it really, you know, it told 2 different stories. You know, you had the 2 discs. It was amazing. And I've been a Resident Evil fan forever, and I think that this is going to really shock a lot of people on how good it is.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that it has a chance to change my opinion, like to change it to a day one buy for me, because I have other things on my list. Like I have Anthem, and I have me and my game sharing buddy. We went through the list, and you know, there's Switch games out there, and there's all this other stuff going on. And if you guys didn't know, I'm having a kid in July, so you know, you gotta save up for diapers and all that other crap. So yeah, you gotta pick and choose the games you want to get. So if it is, you know, face melting, and it's just, you know, you take it and you try it, it's that crack, man, I'm gonna have to get it day one. So I have to talk to my game share buddy, you know. So yeah, it should be interesting. Looking forward to that. But let's move on to the next topic. We had CES 2019, which was pretty boring, honestly. They did some reveals out there with new chips and new technology and stuff. But what I wanted to point out was this Phil Spencer was there, and he was standing there next to the lead for AMD, and you know, they were talking back and forth. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to catch it, but it was like buddies catching up. Hey, you know, how you doing, Phil? Blah blah blah. We've been working together. Yeah. You know, Xbox One X. That was awesome to work together and make that and get the backwards compatibility going. And he's like, because he was talking about back compat, and he was talking about the technology that actually boosts the way the games look. Just, you know, naturally, you don't have to do anything. And then she was like, yeah, man, that was a chore, you know. But the way that they're talking, it just sounds like they have a really, really good relationship. And I think that this is amazing in a couple different ways, because it confirms that there's going to be an AMD chip in, you know, future hardware for next gen consoles. And it also shows the relationships that Microsoft has in the industry. And that's just another thing that, you know, you can add to the feather of the cap for Microsoft when it comes to gaming in the future. They have the resources, obviously, with the money backing, and then now they have these relationships within tech and hardware, and all this stuff is important, because when you look at the way the Xbox One X is made, that's not by chance. They had, you know, connections, they had research, they had all these, you know, people working on it, and it's arguably one of the best console I've ever had, man. The way it is, the way it doesn't make any noise. It's awesome. So let's talk about this relationship with AMD going forward. Do you think it's going to be a big thing? Do you think Microsoft will use, flex their muscles in the industry with their money and the connections going forward with these future consoles? Let's start off with Mr. Boomstick. What do you think, man?
Well, you know what? I mean, look, the one thing I have to say, Phil Spencer did shock a lot of people by coming up on stage. I don't think anyone expected that. And of course, a lot of it did seem like they were buddies. They've sat around a boardroom and they discussed a few things. And, with AMD being so close knit, I mean, there was a story being told up there. That was a lot of underlying stuff that you had to kind of think about while they were talking. They both kept stressing the incredible relationship, the long-lasting relationship they had. And I think that, with what Microsoft is doing with this three-prong attack, where you're going to get your Anaconda, you're going to get your Lockhart, and you're going to get your streaming box, whatever that's going to be called, I really want to say that I think that not only did they catch Sony with their pants down, I think they put AMD in a really good position with Microsoft, with this team up of theirs to offer a broad like a broad stroke of a brush of you're going to get your casuals, you're going to get your middles, and you get your hardcore. And I think that what they're doing, again, I have no knowledge. I don't think anyone does really, except for Phil and the team building the Anaconda. But I think that this team up with AMD, man, I think they're gonna put out a really expensive but incredibly powerful console, and AMD is going to lead the charge. I cannot wait to see what they do with this thing.
Exactly. So Shady, what do you think, man? Did you catch CES?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I caught some of the highlights. And you're right, the two of them there, they look pretty damn comfortable together, not just like a bunch of soulless, mannequin talking heads awkwardly talking at each other. Like, they look like they know each other on a first name basis. They've obviously been speaking back and forth. Their teams work together, and Microsoft has a whole pile of money to be thrown around. AMD does some good stuff. I think this just, they have the aura of a group of people that is looking forward to really making a lot of money together as well, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. So I think moving forward, Microsoft has all the cards on their end if they want to play them. And I think that we're going to come out with an absolute monster, codenamed Anaconda currently. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to get it myself. I think they're going to kill it as far as the power narrative goes.
Punk Kiddish, did you catch it or nah?
I'm so damn busy I can't catch a cold nowadays, which is a good.
I hear that, bro.
No, I'm not a tech guy, dude. This AMD thing, dude, like feels like we've been saying for a while now. That wallet's open, dude. Like to get AMD in there, it's crazy. Like it's almost like they're all in or bust at this point with everything that they're doing. Which we're all happy for. That's what we want to see. I mean, they're flexing their guns or their wallet, so to speak. And it's gonna be off the charts, dude. I mean, sky's the limit for fucking Microsoft, and I can't wait to see what they bring out.
Yeah, to piggyback off what he just said, like, because I'm the same way. Like when you guys say some of this tech stuff, it's like, okay, well, that kind of goes over my head a little bit. But like at this point, Xbox is doing everything they can to put themselves in position, and if this doesn't work, I don't know what
right?
will. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what will work at this point because like. Every bad narrative that you hear about Xbox and Microsoft, they debunk, and they've debunked ever since Phil Spencer's taken over. Mm-hmm. And they're setting themselves up with the studio acquisitions and the way they're doing things to pretty much shut all those narratives down and give nobody an excuse. If they don't do well, like I don't know what else they can do. Like I really don't. We got a lot of haters out there. That's all I gotta say about that. Like, 'cause there's no way.
Yeah.
Well, they make a really amazing team. They work well together, and even with Sony too. They each have their secret sauces, quote unquote. But at the show they went over some of the specs, right, for the next gen of chips, and there was an article that said, the next generation of chips for PC are going to run Forza Horizon at 100 frames per second, and still remain high resolution, right? So let's listen to that again. 100 frames per second, not 240, Mr. Douche Pactor. God, I hate super people.
Is it?
I told you he would get hype. I told you he would get
Is
hype.
it in
bro.
each eye or one?
Yeah,
or
shit.
two together. Okay.
Those internet memes are great.
So yeah,
60
man,
frames
be
per
cocky.
eye.
Per eye.
that's the only way.
50 per
That's the only way
eye.
to do it, right? 60 frames per eye or bust.
You're doing it wrong.
Eye.
Let's get a 60
I
frames
swear,
per
Michael.
eye hashtag in the chat, please.
Dude,
swear.
I can't remember who made that tweet last Friday, but I woke up to that and I just died
Awesome,
laughing.
dude. Amazing.
I died
It's like an
laughing.
instant meme, you know what I'm
Ashtray Gaming.
Ashtray.
It's like
saying?
Michael Pachter just went a few rounds with Ivan Drago, and he's sitting in his corner like, I see 3 of them out there.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. So we got some rumors out there that Sony's possibly looking into acquiring new studios, as well as Microsoft. Insider
Who are they?
Clobril on Twitter, he's pretty consistent with his information. He's an insider. He was right on the money with some of the Obsidian stuff and stuff before, what's it called? The Inside Xbox convention they had. I can't remember the real name that they called it. Anyway, he broke
XO18?
Yeah, XO18. He broke some news there. He's pretty reliable. He said that Microsoft is close to acquiring a studio that rhymes with balloon or on balloon, or he sounded like Dr. Seuss out there, right? He's throwing out these rhymes.
Wait a minute. So who is this, Sony or Xbox?
This is Xbox, okay?
Okay.
Clobril, he's on Twitter. He's obviously someone that works with Microsoft. He has inside information. He breaks
Gotcha.
stuff. So he's like, hey, guys, I want to hear a rhyme. It's like, okay. I mean, he's like, they're close. And it's just like, dang, man, I wish you could just tell us. But it rhymes with on balloon or it rhymes with balloon. And everybody was like typhoon or, they were throwing out different options out there. But yeah, they're close to acquiring another studio. They're not done. You know what I'm saying? Like Game Pass is important to them. So did you guys catch this? And what do you think of these rumors? And then we'll get into the Sony kind of counter argument that they're going to be looking into acquiring studios as well. Just jump in. This is going to be anywhere you guys can jump in when you want to. Just jump in.
I mean, bro, like, how many more studios they got? Like at this point, man, every time I hear them acquire a studio, I'm like, dang, man, like that pocketbook is deep, my dude. Because like, dude, for real, because they like every time I'm like, okay, they got to be done, and then here comes another one. Okay, they got to be done. And here comes another acquisition. Okay, they got to be done, and here came another one. And then to hear Sony's acquiring studios, like, okay, like, cool, like, but not like a bad way. Just like, okay, they gotta keep up. If Microsoft's doing it, then they need to start acquiring some studios. I mean, I guess they see the competition. They don't want them to run away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I saw the original tweet actually, and I liked looking for people's guesses as to what might quote unquote rhyme with balloon. People were going with Moon, High Moon, which is owned by Activision, maybe. People were even remixing words like Rebellion was Rebellion Studios, perhaps, which I thought was kind of fun. They have all their games in Game Pass, right? Which I'm kind of like, well, hey, you're stretching it, but maybe. Chinese Room, which I'm unfamiliar with, but I guess that they're owned by Sumo Digital, which did crack down. I'm not surprised, to be honest myself. I don't think Microsoft is ever going to be technically done. We're never going to hear them come up and say, and that's it, no more. If something is out there and they like it, I think they're going to pursue that shit now. And that's just the way it is. They have the money, the clout, and they're dead serious about gaming. Maybe even for the first time ever since the Xbox came out. This is the real dead serious coming.
The real deal Holyfield. Noof, what do you think, man? Or Titan, you're going to hop in. Titan.
I was gonna say I think you're right on a lot about that, Shady. They're gonna look at all these studios and they have to fit a mold, and the mold so far has been most of these studios, they worked with most of these studios in the past. They're not huge studios. They're somewhat small studio, like they don't want to spend all their money on one studio. They want to get these studios with potential, and that's what they're looking for. It really has to fit the mold of what they're looking for. They have to work together. They have to work well as a team. I think Phil Spencer released something about that, about how they were, about exactly what type of studios they were looking for. But yeah, I do think they will acquire at least one more. I've said that for, I don't know, for since they acquired the last one. I thought I thought Bluehole was gonna be one of them, but that didn't happen yet.
Thank goodness it wasn't.
Dodge that bullet.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed that, but
I was excited for Bluehole for a minute.
Sorry, what?
I said I was excited for Bluehole for a minute, a quick minute.
I think a lot of people.
I may have got you with that a little bit, you know, with the little hype train, but you know what? So might have what was who did we do the impression of last week, Noof? I'm having
Mikey Barra.
Yes, Mikey Barra.
Where is Mikey Barra?
Noof.
Yeah, Noof. When it's your turn, you got to do the Mikey Barra, please, for everyone out there.
He's not like a parrot. Hey man, you got to do that thing, man. Do that thing.
Yeah, right. But to close out my statement, like Sony is the one that really needs to acquire studios. Like they need this. They need some type of positive news because their hype train is in the negative. Like Sony's are still living off of their 3 games they've had forever.
No, they don't.
All right.
They need
Everyone
to
counter that, please.
I'm not countering. I'm really not countering that. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. They don't because I just don't want them to. Like, chill. Just stay where you're at, Sony. Just stay piggish over there.
No, they need to acquire someone, man. They need to start throwing some punches back.
I mean,
we'll
talk about
I'm
it.
tired of
Like
destroying people on Twitter.
At 91 million consoles sold. I mean,
the deal here, guys, though, with Microsoft, look, they got their dedicated studios for their Forza. They got their dedicated studios for Forza, Halo, Gears, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's no mistake with all the money they've been putting behind Game Pass that's where part of their future goes. And I think part of these studios, or at least some of these acquisitions, are solely made with the intent to bolster and keep steady content coming to Game Pass. Like Game Pass is not going to thrive with games that take 4 or 5 years to come out. They need a couple of studios that can turn around some quick successors. So not every game is going to be, say, a single story player banger. You know what I mean? I think they're going to come up with some games that'll be like just above like the indie style type of thing, and probably even even down the road, probably even content, expandable game stuff that comes out in episodic content and just keeps the Game Pass fresh for its users. I definitely think that's where they might be heading with a couple of these acquisitions.
Yeah. Mr. Boomstick, what do you think, man?
You know, look, the thing is this. I have heard, and I don't really have any major sources or anything. I just kind of, I read articles and I listen to whispers. I think it's going to, in 2019, we're going to get up to as many as 3, between 2 and 3. That's that's what I've heard. That's what I've been, that's a number I would go with. Some may be, not shocking. The Cuphead developer has been talked about. Moon Studios, someone mentioned in the chat, the Ori and the Blind Forest team. These are smaller teams. And you know what, Titan Drago, I kind of just want to agree with you on what you said about, Phil Spencer said what they were looking for. They were looking for small to medium teams to acquire so they could, listen, at the end of the day, the issue that Microsoft had in this generation was consistency with first party. And Noof mentioned Game Pass, and consistency and Game Pass, they're going to go together because, of course, as great as Game Pass is right now, and it's fantastic with over 200 games in there, there's going to come a point where a lot of these games are just going to be really old and long in the tooth. So you're going to need to keep pumping newer titles in there that are outside of your indies, your 16-bit graphic games that they want to keep putting in. Like, people are going to get tired of that. So you're going to need new and original content to keep the people paying. And Microsoft needs to have, I'm not saying they're going to come out with, 8 bangers each and every year. That would be insane. But it would be good to know that they can come out with 3 to 4 and have all of these smaller teams that they purchase coming out with games that maybe are AA, right? And they're going to be original content. They're going to be exclusive. That's what they need to do. So them continuing to purchase studios, I don't think it's going to end. I think that they are really going. They've looked at the math. They saw what they did wrong in this generation, and they're not going to make the same mistakes.
Yeah. Man, I keep going back to the Netflix thing, but it's important to look at that as a model because it fits it just perfectly. You know, this is Microsoft's baby right now. They know that this is just like money waiting to happen, right? If they do this right, it's a gaming industry changer. They have the funds, the resources to back it up. So they're going to do whatever it takes to make this thing successful because, you know, it is what it is. They're not nearing $1 trillion for no reason. They make mistakes, you know, Zune and all this other shit, but they make, you know, smart decisions as well, or they wouldn't have, you know, the profit margins that they do. So it's interesting to look at the way the Netflix model goes because they acquired the Marvel shows, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit of time before Disney decided to rip them back and cancel them. So that was like their marquee thing right there. And then they had to develop original content like Stranger Things and other content like that. But they filled the gap with some of those other things. So you need to get marquee titles in bangers in there. As long as you need to have small things as well, right? Indie stuff or whatever. But you need to have just stuff that people, they have their subscription and they don't even think twice when they re-up it, you know,
speaking on Disney there real quick, they're doing exactly this. Why do you think they bought Fox? It wasn't to get the X-Men as much as the Marvel fans wish and hope that was the only reason. That's a bonus. It's nice. I'm sure that's a part of it. It's because Fox makes 2 metric fucking tons of content and now they can put it onto their own streaming service. One could say that looking far enough back when they bought Star Wars, I mean, yeah, it does big in the movies, but it also struggles, quote unquote struggles. They're putting Star Wars shows onto their own streaming service. Like they're looking for companies and content to load up their own streaming service to go to war with Netflix because there is massive amounts of dead serious money when it comes to streaming to a planet that has internet connection. We're damn near there. Like the old days of counting consoles are over. Get with the modern times. It's not that.
Exactly. People like need to open up their minds a little bit, especially the people on the other side of the fence. Like we haven't even seen anywhere near the potential of this that is Game Pass. This is a big reason why I think Microsoft is going to absolutely dominate next gen because they're going to use right now they're using the profits from Game Pass and throwing it back into the system, and you can see that they're buying studios with like where do you think this money from the studio like? They're buying the studios with the money from Game Pass. I can assure you from that. They're not, you know, they're not just writing check after check after check. Maybe a couple of them were checks, you know, from Saudi and Nadella, but I guarantee they're using profits from Game Pass to buy these studios. And, you know, next gen, their subscribers to Game Pass is going to absolutely blow up.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're going back to Netflix, but you remember how shit Netflix was in the beginning? Like
yes,
it was like
they were terrible.
It was like CDs and then like old movies. It was bad. You know what I'm saying? So it got off of that start. I know it's not that like harsh for this situation because you know it's pretty much established right now. But if you look at it, they're at the forefront. So they had to get their feet wet. So they can't just put like, hey, we're gonna acquire all these studios without knowledge of how this is gonna actually turn out. But once they started seeing the metrics and the analytics, they're still like, oh shit, we're making money and we don't even have like new titles in here. We don't, you know, we're going to do this day and date shit, but you know, we don't have our Gears out or our Halo out. You know, Forza's not out yet. We're going to be dropping Sea of Thieves in here, but it's kind of a relative unknown. We're going to get some older titles in there. And then they're like, okay, we're making money now with, you know, lowered expectations. I mean, what if we step this up a notch? You know what I'm saying? Like, take it to another level.
Another way of reinforcing that it's an obvious successful program, makes money, is the biggest video game company in the world, being EA, is doing it with their own service on at least the PC right now, where you pay XYZ a month. I think it's $10, and you get, like, say, Anthem as an example, day and date. It's just a part of it. Every game they launch, all the sports titles, the Need for Speeds, all the little games that they release now, all of it day and date. Plus, you have access to their old library and WB games. Like, I mean, they copied it because they obviously see that it is making money. If it was losing money and it wasn't working, they wouldn't have done it. Like,
Shady, and let me tell you something. That's called EA Origin Access, and if you're and it's $99 for the 12 months if you want to pay all in one shot.
If they bring that to Xbox, I'm in day one. Like, I hope it comes big time.
Yep.
Listen, it makes
what's that, Mikey Burrow? What?
Okay, guys, I just wanted to let you know that secretly, okay, keep this on the down low, but we're actually making a ton of money by sending Commodore 64s over to third world countries, preloading them with Windows 95 and having them still play. That's what we do, guys. Keep it on the
Oh
down low.
my gosh, preloading it with Windows. Oh my god.
With old shirts from people that didn't win the Super Bowl, right? So yeah, thanks, Micah Barr.
17-0.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're tooting the horn for Game Pass, but it's that good of a value, honestly. Like I said before, I'm having a baby, and sometimes you gotta pinch some pennies when you have multiple consoles or whatever, and you gotta choose what you gotta buy. But look at it, Anthem's coming out. I don't have to decide whether or not I need to buy Crackdown. It's already there, my dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's already going to be installed. I don't have to worry about buying it. I get to experience Crackdown. It's not necessarily a title I would buy because I'm not a big Crackdown fan, but it's kind of won me over. But I don't have to think about it. It's just there. You know what I'm saying?
You know the crazy thing is, think of Game Pass like 5 years from now when all these studios have already developed their games. Like, talk about the value then. Even if it only, even let's say by then it goes up $5. Even at $15, man, that is a freaking steal because those games are going to be going on there 24/7 every time they come out. Date, assuming they keep that same philosophy. That's just really crazy to think, dude.
Well, like Salty said, he's not a huge Crackdown fan, but he gets to try the game, like, quote unquote, for free. Like, it's a part of the subscription. But we all have Game Pass. So not only does he get to play Crackdown, but he gets to play it with all of his friends in the online mode. So it's not like it's just him experiencing with a bunch of randos. Everyone who's hardcore into Xbox, a lot of casuals, of course, they have Game Pass. So it's really easy to get your friends involved in the multiplayer and the co-op in these games. Like, it's just such a good service. I can go on for the whole show about it, but I won't.
Yeah, but like Forza Horizon, for example, not a big racing fan, wouldn't have bought it. I participated in it. I played with other people that wouldn't have bought it, and we were able to play co-op together, like from the Discord, and that shit never would have happened if it wasn't for Game Pass. You know, so we'll stop tooting the horn of Game Pass. I'm sure you guys will hit us up in the comments about that. But we're fans of saving money and having a good value. It's the best value in gaming. What can we say? You know, there's no questions about it. But let's talk about Sony. Are they counterpunching Microsoft? Do they have the means to do this? Do they even need to? Because it's rumored that they're at 91 million consoles sold, which is congratulations to them, nearing that 100 million mark. They're going to go down in history as one of the best, most successful consoles of all time, which is nice. But there's rumors out there that they're, gearing up to buy studios as well. Do you guys buy into this rumors? Because I know that they're using some of their established studios like Naughty Dog. They're kind of splitting off and using some of the resources they have to make some other games. But do you think that they're going to go the route that Microsoft is going, or do they even have the funds? Because they're skipping E3. There was a rumor out there. It was one of the analysts. He's like, if it's about the $15 million that you guys are trying to save for not going to E3, and that number came from somewhere. He didn't pull that shit out of his ass. Even though analysts do pull shit out of their ass, 15 million. Yeah, it came from somewhere, right? So like
that's a worrying number if they're worried about 15 mil.
Yeah, that's pretty small, right? I mean, that's what
it is when you're dealing with these companies. My God.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they have the ability really to do it. Not at the level that Microsoft seems to be. I think they could pick up a couple of smaller teams. I mean, they are making big bank, but at the same time, in reality, a lot of that big bank is going to just keeping Sony up. The rest of their business outside of selling insurance in Japan isn't doing so well. Rumors of Apple coming in and buying the movie division because that's not kicking ass. Like, I just don't think they can make huge waves. I see a lot of extremists, let's call them, zealots. They're out there. They're like, yeah, Sony's going to buy Insomniac. Maybe they're the ones that are coming in to buy the studio that just has Independence Today. We'll leave that as it is. There's just no way that they can do that kind of stuff. Could they grow the teams they have? Maybe even split them into two, similar to what Playground has done. There's two teams over there. I think that could happen as well, but I don't think they can compete against Sony, I don't think Sony can compete with Microsoft dollar for dollar, which is really what it comes down to when you're acquiring studios.
I mean, it's plain and simple. It's black and white, right? Like, if it becomes a pissing match for streaming services or even services, it just doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? They're not even in the ballpark with how much the companies are worth. So it just won't work. One company will outbid the other. It's like the New York Yankees bidding against some low tier baseball team. I don't know. Like they don't have the funds, right? It's just not going to happen. So, Mr. Boomstick, what do you think, man, to these rumors?
Well, listen, I'm going to say this, and I don't want to be long-winded, but this is one of those instances you got to look at the big picture, okay? And we take what Sony didn't do. We know what they did in 2018, fantastic, right? We know the first parties were great. No one's going to challenge that. But you have to look how 2018 ended. They skipped Paris Game Week. They skipped Gamescom, right? They canceled PSX. And in the same breath, they say we're not coming to E3 2019, right? So there's 4 major shows that they skipped, right? Okay, everyone's saying it's cost cutting. They're saving money. Okay, I hear you. But you have to look at it like this. You see, Sony is in trouble. And I'm not saying this to be to fucking, to fan the flame wars. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it because it's a complete reality.
It is.
Their console sales are great. But everyone who's in this business knows that even when you're turning a small profit per console sold, it does not mean that's where you're making your money. You're making your money in the software. So yes, 2018, they made some bucks because they had a lot of big bangers out there. 2019 is going to be a barren sea. You have Dreams, which is going to be a flop. And right now, as excited as I am for Days Gone, from what I hear, it is running terrible on the PlayStation Vanilla, PlayStation 4 Vanilla. So we don't know. There's been rumors that might be delayed into the end of the year. Hell, it may even be pushed back into next year. We don't know. Those are the only 2 games that they have coming out as far as we know. So they're not going to make money on that software. And also, you have to think about this. They are not in a position like Microsoft. Microsoft has the Azure servers running in countries all over the place. They've been building this. Sony is, what are they going to do? Where are they going to get the money? The last time they spent a big bunch of money was when they acquired Gaikai for $380 million, and that was to get the PS Now off the ground, and that's a flop. They haven't made any of that money back. So their backs are to the wall. Sure, 91 million consoles sold. Spider-Man sold almost 10 million copies. Great. God of War, 8 million copies. Fantastic. But now you look at what Microsoft has slowly been doing, and they're working towards the future, whereas I don't know if that's what Sony is doing. That's why they're going to come out with just a regular, straight-up PS5, regardless of – and I'm sure it's going to be a great system. I'm going to buy it day one. But I think that they are in a bit of trouble, and I don't think anyone's really talking about that, Salty.
Well, another big reason, personally, there, Boom, is because this industry we're in is massively propped up by casual gamers, big time, like big time. Yes. They outnumber the hardcore like almost 5-1, I bet, maybe more. And I think there's no guarantee that the next gen from all 3 companies is going to be anything that we could call standard. There's a big mix-up coming with this stream to any device talk happening from some of them. Nintendo talking about doing what they're doing all of a sudden. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that could guarantee what these casuals are going to do or where they're going to go and spend their money. And if Sony is unable to, which is the truth of the matter, compete right out the door next year or even the year after on a full-blown streaming platform, I think they're a little worried as well and in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Well, their cell phone side is abysmal, and you need profits. You need profits to spend to acquire more IPs. Yeah. 91 million consoles sold. Congratulations. They made as much off of that as Microsoft has made off of 1 month of Game Pass subs. I mean, it's just that you don't make a lot on console sales, and that's over the lifetime of of the system. So Sony is in such a bad spot, and really there is no easy way out. There's no shortcut home.
You were sick, dog.
I mean, do you guys think their PlayStation Plus is gonna make as much as Xbox Live? No, because everyone on Xbox has Xbox Live. Not everyone that owns a PlayStation uses PlayStation Plus. They're not paying extra to play online and this and that. They're taking the free option, right? So, and another question: do you guys think that they're making as much as Game Pass is making? Game Pass, hell no, man. Game Pass is destroying it right now. So Sony has to change their online culture in so many ways, and I mean everywhere, from their services side all the way down to their network infrastructure. And they will be and they are working on that. And there's been more and more leaks of that coming out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like in my live stream, they literally, like, there was somebody found a sort of, I guess you could see, a job, whatever. They were specifically called to work on PSN and PlayStation Now. They were specifically working on that. That was what the specific job listing was. So whatever we've been talking about, I think they know what they got to do. But something that you've been saying though, Titan, is, and you've been very consistent with this, they might be late on this. They might be very late on deciding to work on this now rather than
better late than never, though.
I mean, better late than never. That's correct. But what are they gonna do, and how are they gonna remedy it? That's what I'm worried.
Right.
That's what I'm concerned with. Like Microsoft already has the infrastructure. They're already set for what they want to do in the future. It almost seems like we don't, like everybody says, we don't know, but it just almost seems like Sony is trying to catch up to compete. But like I said, we never know. We don't know what they've been working on the whole time. But just from what we were gathering from information we're getting, they seem to be worrying about it now, and they should have been worrying about it last year or the year before.
Years ago. And a lot of these things Microsoft has been, they've had it put in the cauldron. It's been boiling, it's been on a slow cook for a while now,
Slow cook. They got one of those Instapots, and it's just been sitting there.
Well, it sure looks like Sony does not have a slow cooker. They're just like whipping it up last minute. They're just microwaving their shit and throwing it out to you. Would you rather have something slow cooked to meet that slow cooked, or do you want some microwave?
Hey, sometimes you gotta have some microwave meat.
It depends on what you're microwaving, bro. All
right, but are you gonna sell that microwave stuff to the masses?
No.
I mean,
no.
Some of these restaurants do though. Some of these restaurants do though.
So this might be a great segue here. Bring me into the next topic about Sony and The Last of Us 2.
Yes.
Just hiring some new development talent. So that's kind of concerning, don't you think?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Naughty Dog is just now hiring new designers for Last of Us 2, meaning the game is definitely not coming out this year. There's some pie in the sky stuff out there with the Sony situation because, rightly so, a lot of the fans are kind of, inside, they're kind of like questioning things, but they won't let you know it, We're not going to E3, but that's good because we don't need E3. E3 needs us. We don't have many games announced that are for sure coming out for 2019, but they'll say Ghost of Tsushima is going to be coming out. It doesn't even have a HUD. They'll say The Last of Us is coming out this year. They're going to give you all these titles that are supposed to be coming out, but they're not confirmed. And if you look at the way things are going, like this, for example, when they're hiring new designers for Last of Us 2, the writing's on the wall, my dudes. It's not coming out this year. You know what I'm saying? So,
and even when they are announced, who's to say it's not going to get delayed? Because it probably will.
I mean, that's very likely, but sometimes we just gotta, because like when Xbox had no games in 2016 and 17, it was a dry spell. I knew what was happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew it was kind of dry, and we were trying to play PUBG.
Boy, was it dry!
You know what I'm saying? We were playing PUBG, and it was shit, right?
Thinking it was amazing.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god, it's PUBG, but it was really shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
it was like that old lady's crotch from Dumb and Dumber 2. Dry.
Good Lord. So like, like when you're starving and you're in the desert, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get any kind of food, I mean a rotted fig, you probably take that, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're starving. So it's a dry spell for Sony. It's just you got to kind of admit it, you know what I'm saying? It's not bad, companies go through it. It is what it is, man. You guys, but so let's talk about this, man. Last of Us 2, because we saw footage of this game at E3. It looked phenomenal,
Oh yeah.
But some people were like, nah, there's no way that's running on the PS4. Just the way it looked. And if this is true, I mean, it might have been running on a PS5, Definitely.
Even beyond then, just the smoothness of the transitions from what it looked like almost just one giant cutscene, but I believe what they said. It was being played. It was a game that you played, but it just looked so dynamic, so smooth, so incredible and violent, which is right up my alley, baby. Like, I am hyped to fuck to get a piece of this. I wish to God of the gaming god that it was coming out, but it's not coming out this year. It's just not coming out this year. Yes, it's in that upcoming trailer. It doesn't say upcoming 2019 games trailer. It just has a lot of multiplats that are coming out in 2019 in that trailer. That's it. Yeah. That's Sony's style. That's smoke and mirrors. They include their games amongst ones that are guaranteed releasing, and their fan base is running with those games coming out guaranteed. That Ghost of Tsushima, they're guaranteeing it because look at this little trailer they released, and there's not a chance that's coming out. I wish it was. It would give me a reason to turn on my damn PS4, but it looks like it's going to go almost an entire year without being turned on because that's not happening. Ghost of Tsushima's not happening, and I'm not down with Days Gone and the Freakers. Ooh, the Freakers. Actually, Death Stranding kind of interests me, but I mean, we'll see. I'm going to pick that out of the bargain bin because it's a walking simulator, boys. We all know it.
I mean, it could be episodic too, so stay tuned
that
for
too.
That. Noof, what do you think, man?
Personally, like I said, I hope it comes out this year, honestly, because I mean, outside of Days Gone, there isn't a whole lot on the PlayStation front, at least out of their own camp, that gets me really excited. So I'm hoping it comes out, but this kind of news doesn't make you optimistic about that. I mean, sure, their little trailers they showed look plenty of polished, but we've all seen that stuff before where, you know, there's a little piss and vinegar thrown on there and, you know, everything's spiced up just to get the fans excited. It doesn't take too long to make a, you know, 10-minute sort of preview or, you know, a CGI type of thing or whatever. But, yeah, I honestly think that The Last of Us 2 is probably a side-by-side day one with the PlayStation 5, to be quite honest with you. And they may take a version of that then and have it ported so that it runs on PlayStation 4 hardware, but I definitely think it's probably a PlayStation 5 title.
Switch and Zelda style, you think? I think so, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have some thoughts on this before we
Hey,
move
I
on?
actually do have a
Punk, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Punk.
I was just thinking, since we're all thinking that The Last of Us 2, again with this news, that's going to be pushed till 2020. So thinking the PS5, you got to sit here and contemplate. I'm like, there's no bangers coming out. So right now, is it a good time for me to just go ahead and trade my shit in? Has anybody else been thinking of that? Like, and that's not
you even have that thing in your house, man?
Dude, no.
Bro, were you not there for the
non-fanboy in here, Titan Drago? Anyone who owns a PlayStation, has it crossed your mind to just go ahead and?
That's a good question to the chat. I mean,
like legitly, and I'm not picking on you.
You're trying to get a good price, a good trade-in price.
If you played all the games you wanted to play, if Days Gone isn't it doing it for you, and the other crap game, I don't remember the name of it, is it worth it right now?
Yes. According to Moochonomics, it would be worth it. Get that shit the hell out of here when it's worth something. And if you know, like a big if, something comes out a little bit later towards the tail end, you pull one out of the bargain bin for you know, $99, $120 again. I mean, if someone's willing to give you money today, take it.
Now, don't get me wrong. If you got like the special edition Spider-Man that looks cool and shit, I get it, keep it. But if you just have a base one like I do, like it's really something to think about.
I mean, listen, the way you got to play it is you know, obviously you have multiple consoles, and if there's a particular game that's coming out that you're like, man, I don't have the money for it, you know, and you kind of you know, it becomes a dividend kind of a thing. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a PS4 that's sitting there collecting dust because you've already beaten all the games that you want to play, or do you want to play the new hotness that's coming out in 2019? That's really what it comes down to.
True.
But then again, mind you, Punk, by your logic, most of us should have gotten rid of our Xboxes this year too. Then
I mean,
that's true.
All right, Salty, real quick.
I have friends on Xbox, so that's where that lies.
Yeah.
Salty, you mentioned episodic games, and my buddy Elite Gaming Guru had a nice little post on Twitter about how we look at games like Sea of Thieves and hate on it because it released in, you know, as incomplete, hot, you know, mess. But episodic games get a complete pass when it comes, you know, because you think about it. I mean, they're episodic; they're not complete at all. You're getting 1 out of 5 or so, 1/5 of the complete package.
I mean, at that point, you're telling your customers, hey, this is how it's coming out. And a lot of the time, you know, if you're honest and forefront with your consumer base, they'll accept it. That's like episodic. It's in the name. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
doesn't that happen with the main games? Almost every game today is like, here's what you get first day, and here's the content plans for the future. And I'm like, even Sea of Thieves said, we're going to add more, just because they don't define that more. I think gamers today are generally just a little bit entitled in how long these games are supposed to last. Dudes are putting in 10-hour shifts every day and losing their minds because it's done in 2 weeks. Like, just crazy stuff. You put down your $60, you get what the game has. If they offer anything else after that, that's all kind of icing. It's not the end of the world if they're asked $1 or $2 for it. I'd rather they didn't and it was all free. It's not the way the world works. You get what you pay for. If you don't like what you're getting, wait later, buy it for cheaper, and get it all. That's generally how it works. It's been going on long enough that as hardcore gamers, we've all at least seen the pattern, right? So it shouldn't be burning us, and it shouldn't be burning a lot of the gamers out there, because I mean, it's on the wall. We know it's coming. If you don't like it, don't buy it day one.
Well, the thing is, Sea of Thieves came out and said, you know, they were going to release all free updates, and it still got all this hate. But episodic games don't get any hate. You know, it's a little catch-22 there. What do you guys think?
I can see where your argument is coming from, and I definitely agree with the entitlement thing. Gamers are very hard to please. They seem to hate every publisher out there. It seems to be very few titles that they're willing to look over and gloss over stuff. And I do agree with that, but at a certain extent, you know, it's like, where do you define what the content needs to be like? And I personally would say Sea of Thieves was lacking content at launch. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't deny that fact, you know. So
no, but they were pretty upfront. I mean, that beta ran for a year, and if anyone wanted to try and trick themselves into thinking it was going to be anything more than that, I mean, that's a them problem. I knew guaranteed what it was going to be at launch, and considering there was Game Pass, I have no fucking issue with it. It was just included in something I paid for, so it was great. Would I plop down the big money day one and felt satisfied? No, I wouldn't have. If you did it today, it's cheap and you get way more out of it. I mean, this is the way the industry works, guys. We got to get with the times, or we're going to get burned all the time, or just be always mad.
Yeah, if you were twisting my arms, I would say that you don't really have to worry about episodic content, because, you know, Telltale Games is shutting down. Hitman wasn't too successful. Like, you look at these titles that are episodic and they're not really doing too well. I'm not sure if, you know, these rumors of what's it called is going to be episodic, but if it comes to be, then I'm kind of doubting.
Are you talking about Kojima's game?
Yeah, Kojima's game. If that is episodic, I'm kind of questioning how successful that would be, because you'd be hard.
It's gonna flop. Yeah. It's gonna flop. Let me just say this, okay? For someone who's been in the industry for a very long time and who knows Kojima, I don't know him personally, but I know his work, and it has always been development hell after development hell. He has never hit his mark on when a game was supposed to come out. That is exactly why this title never got an official release date. Because everyone knows, listen, he's a genius. And quite frankly, he's so good at what he does. He could be doing feature films, but he would bankrupt a company, because even though his work is good, it's strange. And there's a lot of twists and turns that go into it. I mean, every Metal Gear that he worked on was delayed at one point or another, sometimes as much as 3 and 4 delays. So this doesn't surprise me. And I think that because Sony went to him, see, you got to look at it from, again, we're going to go back to the money thing. Sony is not doing fine. Sony's the PlayStation division, doing well. The rest of Sony, not so much. And obviously, we've heard talks of Sony being bought out by Apple, Sony Pictures, right? We hear that, you know, they're not making the big TVs, the big splash anymore. The phones, everything is falling in on themselves. So this is the only division making money. They gave this dude a big sum of money. Say, go crazy, sign with us, and you can make whatever you want. And, you know, mid-development, remember, they changed the engine on this game. Yeah. Okay, and that's a lot of money. You know, you have to scrap a lot of work, and if it's going to be episodic like I think it's going to be, it's going to flop, because I don't understand the story from any of the trailers that I've seen, other than the fact that you're carrying boxes around and you're getting killed by invisible people.
It just doesn't look
and
enticing.
You're carrying a baby.
Like, the only thing
going on, man.
I mean, on on that episodic part, man, do you guys maybe consider the last even Metal Gear game semi-episodic? Because it had that prequel that launched at like $20 or $30, whatever it was, and it was 3 to 4 hours long. It gave a little bit of a prequel story to the actual game, and it launched a few months before the real Metal Gear game came out. I'm not saying that Death Stranding is going to be a little tiny experience, but I think it's almost sort of up his alley, Kojima, to do something like this. And I don't know if it's going to be true episodic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, every 2 months you have something, as much as there'll be maybe a quick sequel behind it. And the title might not be fully priced. That's a polite way of saying it.
Well, I heard some rumors, though. The special edition of this game is going to come with a acid strip that you have to take to understand this game.
Why the special edition?
I mean,
Why?
you got to pay more, right? It is what it is.
We highly recommend you.
We highly recommend this in order for you to enjoy this game.
Walking fetus. Let's get it.
Throw baby.
God.
So yeah, it is what it is with that topic. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with their games lineup and the division there. But there's also another rumor here. It's interesting. Nintendo president says they can shift away from consoles in the future. Possible third party. I know that me and Shady went back and forth on Twitter. So this is an interesting topic. Let's start off with Nick because that's your bag, baby. What do you think about this, man?
My bag, baby. I mean, I just think he was just asked a bunch of questions, and he went into detail about Nintendo and what they could do to change and innovate, and how they see themselves as an entertainment company more so than a gaming company, which you hear that all the time, and you sort of roll your eyes because you're still making consoles and you're still making games. So I mean, I guess you can consider yourself an entertainment company, but he pretty much just said, look, we can always move. We're not focused on the console market. We just happen to give you this experience through the consoles currently with the Switch. And if need be, we could pull away from the console market if we need to. I mean, pretty much he's just saying we can adjust. We will adjust when we have to, pretty much. And I think the only reason why he's saying that, really honestly, is because I think he's kind of the new blood, and how everybody says the old Nintendo, they're set in their ways. I think he's just sort of, since he's the new blood and they're sort of going in this quote unquote new direction, but I think he's just sort of setting himself up just for any means necessary if something has to happen. But it's just a blanket statement, really. It's nothing special or nothing crazy. Some people, not shady, but people are like, are they really going to go third party? And I was like, no, they're not going third party. Why would they? The Switch is doing well right now. But if needed to, they would. But only if they need to.
What say you, so Shady?
Originally on Twitter, when I saw that, I mean, I came out like a fucking yell it lunatic. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, Nintendo, get the fuck out of the console business. No one wants you anymore. Stop making toys. Make games that everyone wants to buy.
Labo.
That's right. Like, I'm without a shadow of a doubt, I am behind that they would sell so many more games if they were available on everything. Would they all exclusives would sell way, way, way more if they weren't exclusive, right? Like, being exclusive doesn't help the game sell more. It doesn't. So I came out swinging hard with get the fuck out of the industry with your consoles, and Salty came in and was kind of like, oh, okay, so maybe Xbox, being the company who is currently selling the least amount of consoles, maybe they should get out and make all their games on every system. And I mean, no, not my Xbox, not my damn Xbox. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait a minute.
I love that answer.
It caused me to think that, hey, wait a minute, I came out too strong, way too strong, right? I'm totally fine with changing the way I think. And it wasn't necessarily stop making consoles, as stop only putting your games on just your console. And that goes for Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft has already said they're going xCloud, any device. That, to me, says anything that will have them. If PlayStation says, yes, you're playing Xbox games on PlayStation, like, I'm convinced it's going to happen. I think the day of the real, true exclusive, it's dying. In video games, it's dying, and it deserves to be killed. It does no one any favors as a gamer. I want everyone to enjoy Halo and Gears and Forza. I can't stand seeing zealots out there that hate on it just because it says Microsoft on the top. I want them to have a chance. I want to be able to play the PlayStation bangers, the God of War, the Spider-Man, the Horizon Zero Dawn. I wanted to play them on my Xbox. I would have enjoyed them more. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I would have enjoyed them more. I'll enjoy Mario more. I'll enjoy Mario Kart and Zelda more on my platform of choice. Mario, damn it, up in here, up in my part of the world.
Mario, up in the area.
Yeah, man. Like I think the day of the exclusive, quote unquote, is an old thought. And moving forward, these companies want to sell their games to the masses of the planet, not the people that just bought their consoles. So moving forward, I want them to keep making consoles. I want all of them to make consoles, compete on a technology level, a services level, a controller, ergonomics level, that type of stuff. The same thing that every other piece of tech competes on. And let us play all the games wherever the hell we want. So I rephrased it. And, Salty, I'm glad that we had it out like that on Twitter. Exactly. I caught some heat behind the scenes a little bit from some other guys for doing that because they think I'm burning bridges or trying to or getting into it. And I'm like, yo, I'm just engaging with people I follow follow me.
I tried to tell people, like, whenever possible, I love to debate. And it doesn't matter if I believe in the topic or not. I'll go on the opposite side and debate someone. And then just see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, without your reality check, I was unaware of how extreme I was actually sounding and coming off. Mm-hmm. I don't want or need Nintendo to stop making a system. Make one for all the fans out there that would love to play their products on that thing. But my God, I want exclusives to go away. I'm not a fan of the practice, but I'm glad it happened because it let me know that, hey, man, I'm a little too extreme here. So I toned it down. And that goes for anyone on Twitter or any platform you see me on. I'm not coming at you. I'm just engaging with other gamers. I'm wondering why you think the way you do, and I'm looking to share why I do. That's all.
And that's what we like to do on this channel. Yeah. We like to engage in conversation.
Tryhard fan just said, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say something Tryhard fan said. He said, I don't know. I still feel that without exclusives, consoles lose their identity and purpose for being purchased. And that's exactly what Shady just said. Like,
I mean, no. Here's the deal. Like, does a TV lose its identity and your ability to purchase if it has Netflix on a Sony TV and an LG and all these apps that you can get on it?
But what I'm saying is like what Shady said was I can actually agree with why like he wants everybody to be able to experience all of these games no matter what, and that was his point. Like, maybe if we all could just experience all these games on whatever console we want to, there would be no need for you to go to a specific console. You can go to your console of choice and play all the games that you want to. I mean, you don't. Yeah, you lose your identity in a way, but I think that would be a good thing if you could just play Mario on the Xbox or wherever you want to, or Halo on a Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for that. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm 100% for that.
Noof, you were gonna say something, man.
Look, I can totally see where this is coming from a Nintendo standpoint. Okay, look, everybody in this panel, disagree or not disagree with other things. One thing I think we can all agree on is this gaming industry, even in the last 10 years, has changed astronomically. Okay? Mm-hmm. The way we consume games has changed. The amount of memory taking to download and upload a game, the internet speeds required has all changed. One time you had to go to a box retailer to get a game. Now you can get them in about 100 different types of ways. And I think this is the thing that Microsoft is one of the first pioneers to kind of see, is that, look, with the rising cost of developments, with the high cost of game engines, the high cost of having AAA studios, all of this stuff, to get a real good return on investment, to make sure they can keep pumping out properties, is you have to sell the games. As somebody already said earlier tonight, look, hardware is one part of the equation, but hardware doesn't make them the money. As a matter of fact, in this day and age, hardware is now classified as more of a restriction, because if you're only classified as playing a Nintendo game on a Nintendo platform or an Xbox-based game on an Xbox, Sony, you know what I mean? You are limiting the amount of gamers that can access your property. And this is the thing. Like, you look at an Android device, you can play as long, it doesn't matter if you got an LG, you got a Samsung, you got a fucking asshole in the road. As long as it's an Android, it can fucking play any type of game that comes out for Android. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That extends the user base. That extends access to millions of more players, right? Look, at some point in time, like it or not, I can totally see Game Pass being something that you actually stream through your fucking television set. Mark my words, it's coming. Yep. Okay, Nintendo look, Nintendo's lucky, okay? Look, they have a great little product with Switch. There's no denying it. But Nintendo got lucky again. Because let's face it, if this Switch was not portable and all of us guys who already own a primary console didn't go out and buy a Switch, this thing would have been DOA right now. It'd have been fighting on life support because the Wii U didn't do it. This was an anomaly system that sort of struck gold, much like the Wii did back in the past. So they're lucky. But just imagine if roles were reversed right now and Nintendo Switch was not selling well. Where would Nintendo be? Yes, Nintendo is largely big and used because of the strength of their games, and they know that. And honestly, a game like Mario, which is already selling like Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart, which sells pretty much a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-3 ratio with their consoles. Just imagine if you could get a Mario game or a Zelda game on an Xbox or a PlayStation console, and they could first of all jump out of the business. They could jump out of the business, get rid of their consoles. First of all, that was going to save Nintendo billions because they don't have to manufacture one. They don't have to worry about the online infrastructure because that's already in place. All they got to do is spit out what they do best, and that's bring great quality games. And man, Nintendo would actually make more money if you think about it. They would your fucking shit would be lit on fire. Everybody who owns a console would be just buying Nintendo games. Like they'd go from selling 10 million to fucking 30 or 40 easy. I'm telling you, that's the way it's going. It's like it or lump it, man. The industry is changing. Companies are actually starting to change with it now. Fans are kind of, adopting these things. And this is what I'm saying. I don't rule out that possibility. But Nintendo knows that the future after Switch could get much, much harder than what it is right now because they got to come up with another, hey, let's find the new hot idea. And after Switch, where do you go from there?
Well, look at it this way. Nintendo is opening up theme parks, multiple parks, not a ride at Disneyland, their own fucking theme parks. And they're doing movies. Like containing your IP on one little piece of technology is absolutely asinine. No company would do this. Nintendo knows. They know they're sitting on the deepest IP outside of Disney. They know it.
The thing that signaled the change for Nintendo for me was seeing Mario on the Apple iPhone. That announcement just blew my fucking mind.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, this shit doesn't happen. Like, what is this?
All right. Responding to New, first of all, I swear Nintendo has the best secret ninjas in the world. If you
secret ninjas?
Hold on. Let me explain myself. They see what PlayStation and Microsoft don't do, and they do it. Think about it. Hey, Sony and Microsoft aren't selling personalized cardboard. Let's do it. And there's all, they're not selling it portable. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Microsoft and Sony shit in the bucket. We shit on the street. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So there's that. And then going back to what you were saying, I understand what you were saying, but I think there's just a better example that you can think of when talking about
the TV example?
Yes. I think you can come up with a better example than that.
How though?
But DVD players, they play every movie out there, and we're not all screaming at each other that I've got the Toshiba and you're nobody if you're watching it on anything but a Toshiba. We just don't see that.
You got a Panasonic? What a loser.
Because exclusives mean more to a console owner than like an app does to a TV
when
owner.
You're thinking
they're just not in the same
league. You're thinking in the realms of the past, like buying a Super Nintendo and plug it. You have to get your consoles, your physical, cartridges. You have to get everything, and you have to plug it in, and it's sitting there. We're in a day and an age that the internet's wild. You know what I'm saying? The streaming shit. This is like new territory, and then having apps on your TV, like it all goes back to you look at the future when you're a kid and you're like, man, it's going to have flying cars and this and that and touchscreen TVs. And we have some of that, and you like take advantage of, or it's just, you lose perspective. So like once we're going in a direction, it's easy to say, hey, this isn't how it was, but and it's hard to accept change as human beings. But like streaming and services and apps, you look at your smartphone, like that shit didn't exist on a flip phone, 15 years ago. And now apps are just a thing. And then the Mario Brothers example, I think is one of the signals of the direction gaming's going. Because if Nintendo, that's stuck in their ways, will put a Mario game on a phone, an Apple iPhone, that's all you need. That's all the proof you need.
Animal Crossing, Mario Kart coming.
It's just like, so the TV example is pretty extreme and it's different, but it's like if I wanna buy a Sony, I still can get Netflix and I can get this and that. Maybe they'll have some apps that I can't get, but for the most part, there's the content's there and you can get all this shit and you decide what this would do. It would cause these companies to up their game when it comes to their first party studios. They would have to have content that would compete on the level. So you have your app on there, right? The Xbox app on the TV. You need to have content in there to drive people to go to your app. Doesn't matter if it's a Sony TV or an LG TV. You need to have content in there, which is the games. You know?
Well, here's what I'm talking about. And when I'm talking about exclusives, because the word exclusives in and of itself is a hot, very touchy subject. There's people out there with all kinds of different opinions, and you know, some take offense, some don't. You know, it's touchy. So if you think about it, exclusives, quote unquote, are really one of the hugest reasons for the console war. I mean, think about it. If every game is on every system, the culture is going to change dramatically.
No, that's the point I'm making.
It would, and that's all opinion, though, on those exclusives. Hey, God of War is Game of the Year. I mean, to some it is. To others, they don't give a shit. Whereas when it's like, this one offers better online connectivity, that can be tested and proven. This one has better performance. That can be tested and proven. This one is cheaper. That can be looked at with your human eyes and seen and judged. Like, I'd rather the consoles competed on levels that were obvious to everybody, as opposed to like, I prefer the sticks on the Xbox versus the sticks on the PlayStation. Again, that's subjective. But offer the both controller types on everything. Just stop burying and putting everything behind a little barrier wall and let us just game. All these companies will make way, way, way more money going forward. Streaming is going to massively change this paradigm. Console sales only is a fanboy argument, and it is old. That is the way the industry used to work. That's not the way it's going to work. Even as early as next year, we're going to start seeing some of these things roll out.
Well, you always got those, you know, I like to think about it as, you know, think about your own grandpa. You know, when I was a kid, this is the way we did it, and that's the way it should always be, you know? And that's the way a lot of people are going to think.
Like, imagine society before everyone had a freezer in their house, and you had to go to the store to buy your ice. Yeah. And then the technology comes out, and they're like, hey, everybody, come buy this technology. You can get your own ice at home. Do you think there was people screaming and yelling like, what about the bag company that puts in the ice? What about them? It's all about the bag. These guys had the sturdiest bags. There were no one. Instead, we were like, you know what's really convenient? Walking into my kitchen and getting ice whenever I want to. But we used to sell it. No one cares about that's right. No one cares about the exclusive dealers of ice of past, because obviously the convenience rules all. And I'm telling you, scale it up to a different thing, and it's gonna be the same with video games. When you can pick up anything with a screen and an internet connection and connect your Bluetooth controller to it and play any game that you own with the platform, like say PlayStation or Xbox or the services they offer, people are going to take that. If not our generation, the ones below us are going to eat that shit up. That is the future. Period.
Boomstick, you got any thoughts there before we move on?
No, I mean, I think everyone really covered it. I think it would be just white noise at this particular moment.
All right, let's.
And all I can think about is thank God for ice makers.
Well, yeah, thank God for ice.
Thank God for Shady. I appreciate that.
The video game industry, in a nutshell, the big companies, the big players, they're just caring about how they make money, right? They just want to make money. That's it. We want to make money. It's the fanboys that are concerned about how they make their money, right? That's the difference.
All right, well, let's move on to the main event, what everybody's here for, because this shit is crazy.
Are we here for this?
The topic,
are we here for this?
I'm here for this, man.
I'm here for this.
I was fiending to talk about this topic.
I don't know if everybody's here for this, but I'm here for this.
So, main news of today, Bungie is splitting with Activision officially. They're going to be able to keep the full rights to their IP, Destiny, which was in the works when they're actually with Microsoft, believe it or not. They put some hints in there, Easter eggs in some games. So they had this idea with Microsoft. They're working on, as you know, Halo. They wanted to move off and do their own thing and get some more freedom. But the grass isn't always greener on the other side, especially when you team up with the devil, Activision.
Yes.
You know, so all good things don't come to an end, but some things do, and some marriages end, and it's for the good. This shaking divorce, I guess you could pop the champagne for some people, because this situation, I did a video on it, man. Bungie has been the butt of jokes. They're not the real Bungie, not my Bungie. Destiny's been a joke to a lot of people, a meme. Shout out to Layman Gaming. They get so many views on their Destiny memes, you know what I'm saying? So it's just been a running joke on the internet. Angry Joe did a video about Destiny. It's funny. Go check it out. Destiny 1, his reaction to it. It's just, the game was fractured from the beginning because of the demands that Activision was putting on Halo. Bungie had an idea of what they wanted this to be, and then Activision had different ideas. So then it fractured the game to begin with. From these unreasonable demands, lawsuits were going on, people were leaving, story was changed last minute, they pushed it out no matter what because they had deadlines, right? Activision, they have to make that money. So this game was screwed from the beginning, right? And then Bungie just kept, they were the puppet that was just, the puppet master was Activision. They're like, okay, well, the story sucks, it doesn't matter, keep getting the content out, get the DLC out, and then worry about it later. Destiny 2 hits, it's super casual because they want to make more money. They implement microtransactions. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Fast forward to the future, hardcore people like myself say it's Destiny because, it's done. You know what I'm saying? And then I actually said this, and I uninstalled Destiny, and what do you know? This news comes out that Bungie is done. They're both done, it's a divorce. It's finalized, Bungie is no longer with Activision. Activision somehow agreed to let them, go off with their IP and go about their merry way. I don't know how they came to that conclusion.
I don't know how they did either.
But Activision is in trouble. Like Blizzard having issues. Stocks are dropping. CEOs are leaving. Like, it's crazy, man. They're cutting costs. So this is real. I think anyway, it's a benefit to both companies, but I think Bungie made out in this situation. Because there was rumors there, if they didn't get content out for Destiny, I think it was the Taken King, the IP would go to Activision. So there was
that's correct.
Yeah. So let's get into this. Lots to talk about here.
Oh my gosh.
Lots to talk about because we have connections with Halo. We have connections with Microsoft. Phil Spencer tweeted out, "Hey, Bungie, like we look forward to working with you guys in the future." And you can read it, in between the lines there. Major Nelson tweeted out, he's like, "Yeah, man, I love what Phil's talking about." And the funny thing is all these higher ups like Ybarra and Phil Spencer, they love Destiny, and they've never said that they didn't love Destiny. They play it all the time. People gave them shit. Oh my God, Xbox, executives play Destiny more than PlayStation executives. So let's get into this, man. Let's get into this.
Can I jump in real quick if you don't mind, because I know everyone's going to have something to say, and I want to keep it short and sweet because a lot of the chatter that I saw is, oh my God, what is Bungie going to do? They're going independent. Obviously, Destiny 3 is going to be a big cost to the company. If you read their outgoing statement, it was really emotional, and you can tell that there was a lot of heart and thought put behind it. And they basically explained in this statement that this is a new territory for them, and it's going to be a big learning curve. But then I saw the tweet from Phil Spencer, and again, this is, folks, if you're in the chat and you're starting to turn the ship and you think this is going to be some sort of a fanboy thing, let me just stop you right there. When Bungie in 2010 left Microsoft to unfortunately sign, like Salty said, with the devil. It was a very different Microsoft where they didn't listen. They had their old way of thinking, and it was this way, and that's it. You're gonna continue to make this or else. And they left. You see, 2019. Microsoft is the open, free, let everyone do what they want, kumbaya Microsoft. So there's a couple of things you have to look at here. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen or it even has the potential to happen, because of course I saw on the Sony side, oh my God, they're going to sign with Sony. Yes, trust me when I tell you, Bungie's going to go where the money is, and it's not Sony. So Sony fans, I'm sorry for you, but you're poor. Microsoft is
Bam!
okay. And no, I'm not trying to, to again flame the.
How it is,
but you're poor. You're poor.
I
So
don't want no scrub.
Right. You're poor.
So here's the thing, okay? We know that they're going to be able to do what they want with Destiny 3, right? We know that there's not going to be this egregious, microtransactions first, game later, or game secondary. We know the game is going to be up front. But we also know that there's going to be a tremendous amount of cost and risk behind it. Okay, they still are recovering from the horrible sales of the last DLC, and that was because a lot of the stuff that Activision did. They wanted to put all these microtransactions in there, and now they have to figure it out. So it would not be out of the wheelhouse, if you will, for them to behind the scenes maybe get some funding from Microsoft. Maybe Microsoft goes and says, "Hey, Bungie, here's the thing. If you want to be independent, not a problem. You want to make what you want to make. You want to make this unknown IP that you supposedly have outside of Destiny, go crazy, but sign with us." And it's possible. It is. Remember, the checkbook is open. And again, it's 2010 Microsoft is not the same 2019 Microsoft. And I'll end it like that.
Amazing. Jump
You're
in.
right.
Ding, ding, ding.
I was going to say he's absolutely right. And I just want to clarify for everyone that Bungie was partially owned at one time by Xbox, and they had to actually buy themselves out and be quote unquote released.
Microsoft still owns stock in them, by the way. I think it's 10% that they own of Bungie.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, I mean, like outside of that type of deal, they actually like controlled a sizable chunk of that company back when Halo was coming out on the regular at the time.
That is correct. Yes.
Whereas now, when they made the deal with Destiny and Activision, that was simply a decade-long publishing deal, which was for an obscene amount of money, and in that, they had to guarantee 3 games with XYZ amount of content throughout, right? And there was a whole bunch of stipulations. I believe it was Salty that said, like, they may lose the IP if they couldn't hold up their end. And they obviously, because we all have eyes and seen this game, lost some creative freedom over the way that the game was especially going to be like financed, if you will, with the DLC and the excuse me, the MTs. We'll call it that. Wow, I'm rolling my mouth here. So like Activision was very, very, very involved in this franchise, and they mucked it up, but they were responsible for all of its marketing, which is one of the reasons why a game like Destiny can be dragged through the mud for as long and as hard as it has been and still be massively profitable, just making huge money left and right. It is like there's hate all over the place, but one of the reasons there's so much hate is because hate in today's world has become monetized via clicks. So we see so much of it. But I mean, my brother plays it every single day. He's certainly not everybody. I love the game. I know a lot of people that enjoy the game. I think with Activision's dirty meddling hands off of it, where they're counting pennies, not dollars, but every damn penny they can, I think with their hands off, it's way better for Destiny as a franchise. One, you're going to see some of this in-your-face aggressive microtransactions. That's the word I was looking for. Wow. And you're going to see that back down. And I think you're going to see the people's reaction to the franchise just start to maybe lighten up because they don't have a giant corporate overlord, quote unquote, watching over their shoulder. I mean, yet. Now let's pretend Microsoft swoops in and maybe even for the fanboys out there, outright buys them again. Because let's not kid ourselves. A Destiny 3 with any type of marketing that Destiny 1 and 2 have had, which in order for it to maintain the success it has, is necessary. Call of Duty doesn't just sell itself. It has a monstrously huge marketing campaign, like bigger than most. And that does mean a lot at the end of the day to the casuals out there, to the people that are just even average, where it's like, hey, I'm into it. And you see it enough times. Next thing you know, you're in the store buying it. So it'd be hard for Bungie on their own is my point.
Real quick, I'm seeing a lot of these people in chat talking about this $100 million from the Chinese company. That's for a new IP, and trust me, it takes a lot of money for marketing. The marketing deal that was made with Sony is one of the most aggressive deals I've seen ever in gaming. You're talking about a year of locking content off the Xbox, which is insane. And that costs money. It costs millions and millions of dollars, man. I mean, you're seeing these Sony ads everywhere. It costs money, and then they pay that to people, and they pay that, So this $100 million figure, I don't even really want to hear about it, because that's going towards the production of a game. Like, you can talk about some scalebound shit where they're siphoning off funds and stuff, but that's not the idea, right? The Chinese company that went in there, they want them to use that towards the new IP, not Destiny. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right. Someone has to help them. In reality, someone has to help Bungie get a third Destiny out and have it be even near or better than what it is now or what it ever was. And I mean, who's it going to be? EA? They have Anthem coming. They kind of clash. Maybe it's going to be.
Yeah, they wouldn't. It wouldn't be them.
How about Ubisoft? They have Division 2. Same exact deal. It's going to clash because they're just too similar. Activision's out, obviously. So what's left as far as big ass companies go? Maybe Bethesda. They just shit the bed with Fallout 76. Anyone that wants to get associated with them right now is looking for trouble. So almost by default, it goes back to Microsoft. They have the money. They have the previous relationships. Microsoft is very open at the moment, like Boom said. And I don't know what to say. Maybe it's the fanboy in me. I don't think it is, though. It makes the most sense.
Yeah, dollars to dollars. I mean, listen, Salty, I kind of just want to throw this out there. A lot of people don't know this, but let's say, for instance, a game is $300 million to make. 150 $1 million is what it costs to do the aggressive marketing that Sony did. Listen, I tip my hat to Sony. Their marketing in this generation was nothing short of genius. I mean, they were everywhere: basketball courts, hockey games, movie theaters, billboards. So they're gonna need a lot of money. And you know what? I'm not gonna get a fanboy over here and say, "My God, Destiny 3 is exclusive to the Xbox." But I am gonna say this. Could you imagine if the roles were reversed and that year content was locked now onto the Xbox?
Yeah, well, imagine Destiny 3 dropping day and date on Game Pass. I mean, if you want to sell subscriptions, I mean,
all right. So Salty. So you were saying that this Chinese company isn't gonna help them with the next Destiny?
The deal was to make a new IP. Okay, that was when they're with Activision.
A new IP other than Destiny.
A new IP.
Okay.
And they don't know. They haven't said where it's going or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I could have sworn I read otherwise, but I'm tired and sick, so I'm probably wrong.
No, but like you would think about it, it's like when they're making these contracts, they're with Activision, they're making Destiny. It makes no sense for this Chinese company to be like, "Hey, take our money and spend it on Destiny." You know what I'm saying? Like that has to be accounted for. So if that's not going to fund them, they don't have the money. Like, where is this money coming from? Like, traditionally, like, how much money do you think
how much did they make off of Destiny themselves?
That's the real question. We're not privy to that information or that deal that they made with Activision.
I would imagine they did their numbers and said it's enough because, all right, well here's the thing. It sure looks like they took off their training wheels, right? So I put a poll out there asking people on Twitter about the possible outcomes of this. And with some surprising results, I asked if Destiny will be better off without Activision, without its financial support or whatever. And 60% right now are with me saying Bungie's all good, that they'll handle it themselves even. 17% said Bungie will go bankrupt all alone, and 25% said it's hard to say. So,
but some of these people voting for these polls think they can have a 240 frames per second next gen console with 80 teraflops, and it's going to be $150. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Like when you're looking at the dollars and cents, a lot of it's. You don't know how much money it costs to make the game. I don't think Activision would just cut this loose if there wasn't.
No, that's what I was going to say. That's what I'm going to say next. Because Salty, you're an analytics guy. You love numbers. That's your thing. What we don't know. Okay, we know that Destiny 3 is coming. We know they're working on it. We know that they just got out of a real bad relationship. But how much did they have to pay to get out?
Exactly.
Like you said, Salty, Destiny has been mostly a meme, except to Punk Kiddish, really. But This is gonna tell just how anti-consumer Activision really is. So Bungie, do not F this up. Make the correct decisions in whatever you do, because this just it'll put Destiny on the map for me. Really, I asked Punk months ago what they could do to their game to get me interested in the next one. Well, no one saw this coming, and it turns out all they had to do was become unassociated with Activision.
So let's hear from Noof and Nick. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll
Noof
try not
first.
to keep this too long because I know this is a topic we could all easily talk a good half an hour piece on. But I'll try to keep it short. Look, I think this was a big win for Bungie. I think this is a big loss for Activision. Now, here's the thing with this generation of game and the publishers in particular, right? I mean, I don't blame them. They all want to make money. But look, it seems like now games are strictly built for that sole purpose, whereas the creative freedom and design choices by these talented publishers are certainly restricted and held back by the damn publishers they signed with. When Bungie left Microsoft, their big mantra was, look, we're just tired of Halo. We're kind of tired of space shooters and shit. Well, guess what? They go to Bungie or they go to Activision. They end up making basically a Halo knockoff space shooter, essentially. Look, on principle and sound, that property itself, Destiny, is actually pretty massive. I think it's safe to say that whether you love it or hate it, it's still a massive title that many gamers can identify with. People know what it is. They know what's out there. You know what I mean? And it has huge promise. There's a lot of places where this franchise was supposed to go and didn't go. You know what I mean? But I don't think Bungie took a lot of flack for this game and a lot of voice from a lot of fans. And I don't think it was because of their design intentions. I think a lot of their design intentions were restricted by the fact that, hey, Activision wanted them to constantly pump out a money-making machine. Absolutely. And they put in all this loot crate shit and all this. Like, that doesn't strike me as that was a sound Bungie choice. That sounded like a boardroom choice from Activision to say, well, this is we're in control of this here. You're going to build it, but you're going to do this kind of crap. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that they're out from underneath their shadow, can take that amazing property and kind of sort of do what they like with it. Maybe finally when Destiny 3 comes out, we get the game that essentially all gamers thought we were going to get originally, without the prying of Activision, who obviously now build their games from the multiplayer perspective out, and the stories are really secondary. Like, gamers are getting slapped in the face, right? Look at Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Activision decided to make a choice to scrap that campaign for whatever reason. I really don't give a shit. Bottom line is that they scrapped it, and it's a very successful game. And my fear is that now that Activision knows that they can sell a game without that part of it, who's not to say that many, many more games coming in the future from their studios are going to be that same way? No more single player. And if you do get it, it's going to be probably a DLC. You're probably going to pay extra at some point in time. They put that for, Activision is famous. Like, who do you think is making the call to do that map for, what's that map they always do in every game now? Nuketown?
Yeah.
Nuketown. So don't tell me that's not a money ploy. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't necessarily blame them for wanting to make money, but at the same time, from a developer's perspective, I'm sure if you talk to any dev, you want to get recognition for your product for being articulate, for being a great story first game. And when you're successful, it's kind of like a bonus. You take that success, you run with it, right? And a perfect example of that, Hellblade, right? No big puppet strings going on Ninja Theory for that game. Guess what? They went and did what they wanted to do. They made a fantastic little game that's enjoyed, decent success. You know what I mean? Now they got a big publisher behind them, and as long as Microsoft doesn't meddle and say, well, we need you to make a game that has a bunch of modes in it just for making money, I think they're going to be all right. And you know what? Bungie's going to be all right here. Worst case scenario is if they start finding, if all of a sudden they have trouble putting food on the table, they'll probably run back to Microsoft. I think Phil is a smart enough guy to know what kind of studio they are. They have guys there who probably have great relationships with Phil. Remember when Bungie was kind of getting out of the Microsoft partnership, who was running at the helm? Was it Peter Moore? A couple of those guys?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, Peter Moore.
Right? So those guys were like, well, we want you to make Halo. We want you to make more Halo because that's our flagship. So I think these executives are getting away from that a little bit now. except for certain publishers, and EA and Activision are the worst of constantly killing properties by, again, being let's make money first and let's make a video game second. And until they get that backwards and they change that philosophy, they're going to lose a lot of fans. But good on Bungie. This was a big surprise bit of news today, and I hope that they do well.
Yeah, real quick, I just 2 points to make, then we'll get to Nick. So here's the deal. When you hear about some of these studio acquisitions, there's some people that were saying they were going to go in retirement, and the offer that Microsoft was giving them for the freedom and like freedom for creativity and the money that would be provided, and the deadlines aren't going to be pushed on them. That caused them to be so excited. They're like, screw retirement. I'm back in the business. So mark my words, it was strategy for these higher up people that were getting made fun of. Trust me, they saw it on social media. The Mike Ybarras, the Phil Spencers, the Major Nelsons that played Destiny, they love the franchise, and no matter what, even though the marketing deal was horrible, they still repped it, dude. They played it, they talked about it, congrats and this and that. Like Phil Spencer reaching out right when the news broke and saying what he said was strategy, dude. And Bungie responded. Please. So thanks, all this good stuff. So he's building the bridge. I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, but damn, I mean, the funds start getting tight and you get this offer from Microsoft. Hey, the past is the past, but hey, you come back to Microsoft. We got this Game Pass situation. You get total creative freedom. You want to do the Destiny thing, you do that. You want to get money, you get that.
It's hard to say no to.
It's hard to say no, really. So
what do you guys think of Phil Spencer Street? Do you guys think that means like an auto acquire or no?
No. He's just building the bridge. Trust me, he's building the bridge for something.
It was good. Yeah. And I'm on Twitter. I'm a big Xbox fan. I gotta say, we've been taking a beating for almost 6 years here out there. And instead of the typical defense, I see a lot of Xbox guys on the attack. Mm-hmm. For the first time in a long time, I like seeing it as a team player. It's nice to see the confidence is back with the Xbox fans, and we don't see too many super harsh zealot ponies out there, I think, because they're generally confused as to what's happening, and Sony is certainly not coming. Sure. Well, Sony's canceling shows. They're not saying what they're up to. They're not as forefront at the moment. And Microsoft is showing a history for the last little bit anyways, of buying up everything. So, I mean, this is interesting times just on social media because of this, let alone the actual games and stuff.
Did anybody notice the more confidence, the more studios they acquire, and Phil is appearing at more things? The tanner he's getting. I don't know if it's spray tan or what. He came out at CES.
He getting tan, bro.
It's like, damn, you're painting this shit on, bro. You're confident. Nick, what do you think, man? Let's get your take real quick.
I gotta put my Destiny music in the background because this takes me back. This takes me back to a time when this game, yes, it lacked content, but it was pure, and we had fun playing it.
It was great,
and it was great, and the adventure and the.
All right, you gotta cut it off. It was 15 seconds.
All the stuff that you get lost in, right? Like, here's the deal, man. I don't care what they do or who they. Well, I do care who they sign with, but they could go by themselves for a while and put the game out, or they can go with Microsoft. I don't care, as long as you go back to the root of what this game was supposed to be about. Think about the original lore of this game, before we got the Grimoire, where the original lore was about Rasputin, and Rasputin was an actual person, and the Traveler was actually the bad guy, and he was supposed to be, come to find out, and you had to take down the Traveler. Like, think about how that would have worked, but Activision said, no, this doesn't make sense. It's too confusing, and we'd rather you just put this game out and make us money. Like, I mean, Activision pretty much ruined that. Every time I go back and think about that lore, like, I get mad at Activision for absolutely ruining that, because that would have been an amazing story to play through. And now that they're done with that and they're on their own, go by yourself, do whatever you got to do. I mean, I've even talked to people that are like, do you think they should reboot it? I was like, no, they shouldn't reboot it. It's just a little too soon. But like, if they can go back to the basics and pretty much give me a story and give me an experience as well as the multiplayer experience, I'm all in. And whether that's them going to Microsoft or wherever, I'm down for it. I'm just glad that they're out of Activision and Bungie. Like, I got high hopes right now, and I'm psyched, dude. I'm dead serious, like super psyched from a fan perspective and a fanboy, because me and Salty spent hours upon hours upon hours. I mean, in the hundreds playing Destiny, when, a few years ago. So, and then we got tired of it. We got tired of the crap. And so for me to hear this, I was driving when I read this news, because I do that irresponsible thing and I text and drive sometimes. And I was on Twitter, and somebody tagged me in this, and I literally about jumped out of my seat and almost wrecked my car. I was like, holy shit, like this really happened.
It was unreal, dude.
I can't give y'all none of this analytic stuff. I can give you a fanboy, hell yeah, I'm down for this. I'm ready to go. Please, Bungie, don't mess this up. Do not mess this up. That's all I have to say.
That was an awesome close to an awesome episode, man. I honestly, like, with my hype level was just, I literally watching the clock. It was so slow. I'm like, dude, I got to talk about this stuff, man. I can't wait.
Whoa. If you're going to sit here and tell me that Bungie Gaming cannot talk about the fucking Destiny.
Let him know, Punk. Let him know, Punk.
We are not ending this show right now.
Time out. Punk. How does it feel to be forgotten, my dude?
Shit. All right,
I'm always forgotten.
Oh man,
Karma. Feel good, does it?
Deep burn.
I don't feel nothing burning.
I'm sorry, my dude.
Let him know. Let him know, Punk. Let him know.
First of all, we still got 110 watching while we're talking about Destiny. Think how huge that is, right? No one likes Destiny.
Yeah, that's true.
All the viewers are still here. That is some amazing shit. There was also an article people talked about Bungie employees were popping champagne, dude.
Oh shit!
For this divorce. I don't know if y'all saw that. That is unheard of. Like,
popping
if the divorce has, we need the song right now. If that divorce is so damn good, like you're out there popping bubbly, like this is legit. Like Bungie is feeling good. Now, all that aside, Bungie can finally make the game that they envisioned at the beginning. Whether they pick up someone else to help them or not, no deadlines. Thank Bungie is no deadline. If I have to wait till next gen, I'm cool with that. Just make the game that everyone thought you were gonna make. That makes sense. You have the God of Wars and the Red Deads. Those took like 5 to 8 years to develop. Now I'm not saying they're gonna go that long on it, but I mean those games are phenomenal because they took their time and put out what people wanted, dude. That's what we need to see from Bungie. And then on top of that, Phil and Mike love fucking Destiny.
They do.
How great is that, dude? And again, we can't sit here and say they're gonna buy them. I mean, everything kind of lines up. It would make sense.
Best believe they will be involved in some way. Best believe they will be.
And their marketing next gen should be off the chain, especially with the scoop up. This is put in Bungie back on Microsoft. I mean, that's bigger than any other developer they currently have. Like, I put them right to the top. Like,
what if you could get Master Chief armor in Destiny?
Dude,
yes. Yeah, there's a few things. I could tell you this. Again, the dream would be the whole buying thing. I'm gonna say one guarantee: the marketing rights will go to Microsoft.
Hey,
it makes sense.
E3, man. No Sony. The deal is cut up. Honestly, it's like that deal's gone. So whatever was there is gone. So
it's not transferable, so it's gone.
I made a joke on Twitter. I was like, Sony gonna make a deal and announce it at E3. Wait, they're not gonna be at E3. It was kind of a low blow, but Microsoft will be there, and they're trying to drop bombs on the industry. Can you imagine if they walked out with Bungie? Hey, what's up?
Just think about it. E3, Microsoft. Phil Spencer walks on stage and got that smirk.
Be even tanner at E3.
Got that smirk. You know how he's always got that smirk on stage, and he just is like.
So Shady said he's been seeing Phil.
Yes, and he just says we have the acquisition of Bungie, and we're partnering with Bungie. The world would blow up.
Just ends.
The gaming world would lose their minds.
I know this is too.
And Sony fans would be mad. I can't play Destiny no more. Okay.
Real quick, I appreciate the 110 watching. Crazy news. I know you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon for future shows and content. We appreciate all of you guys. This community is great. The chat is great. So if you're new and you're scared to talk, you're a lurker, man, feel free. These guys are all warm and give you a warm welcome and treat you like a friend. So anyway, let's close it out. Titan has an outro he wants to share for some reason. Let's go.
All right, for my outro, who's up for a song?
Yes, I'm up for a song,
so
dude.
please hold your
Not me, but I'm kind of forced to listen to it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of fans of me out there, so please hold your tongue until I throw my famous closing quote out. All right.
Okay.
So here we go. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a company that is called Sony, hanging on to their laurels all generation, trying to sell a console to me, but I don't want no scrub. Scrub compromises my financial integrity. They don't give a fuck about their online infrastructure going down daily. Let's bring the comment back to sense.
Yeah, there we go. That's the way to close it out, my dude.
Nice.
Do we even need you outros after that? Just shut it down.
How do you
Just shut it
follow that
down.
up?
Just shut it down.
So, I'd like to give a special thanks to our guest, So Shady, man. Tore it up, man. Love the energy.
Hey.
Glad you could be
Thank
here,
you so
man.
much.
It's good to have
Thank
you
you
back.
very much. I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much for thinking of me, man. Anytime anyone out there, yourself included, of course, is looking for someone on the show, just throw me a DM, dog. I really hope it doesn't take away from my scheduled appearance at the end of the month, though, to be honest. I'd love to come back.
Baby.
I
Let's
had
do
about a blast on your guys' show
So
talking
good,
with
dude.
you.
So good.
Yeah,
man.
sweet. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. I'll talk to you later. See you out there.
And Mr. Boomstick, man, hit me up and you're like, hey, slide me. Anytime you say you want to come on, man, it's open, dude. You know how it is.
I appreciate that very
you
much.
tell people where to find you tomorrow, my dude.
Well, yeah, you know what? Tomorrow's, as a matter of fact,
And
we're gonna have
the whole weekend, right?
Yeah. It's the most
do
shows.
it.
I've put five live shows this week. Tomorrow's Breakfast with Boom. Titan Drago will be on as well. Thank you for that, sir. Saturday's show is going to be the Game of the Year show. It's it's something that my brother and my two friends growing up we did privately. We would meet once every January. We'd go to dinner. We'd go back to someone's house and we just talk about games. But this year we're doing it live. And it's going to be really interesting, a lot of fun. And of course, then on Sunday, the Dazcast comes back. Bring your beer, bring your bad language, and your and your other adult beverages.
Beer.
And it's going to be on my channel once a month. And come out and say happy birthday to UK Dazarus. It's going to be Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this was great, man. This was unexpected. I'm really happy that you sent me the link, and I love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, dude. Man, time flies. It's like the way we talk about on my shows and Boom shows and goofing with Noof all in Nick's shows. It's all about the community, man. It's like you're hanging out in an arcade. We're a community here, family, all that good stuff. It's good shit, man. It's our passion. It's gaming, man. If you're not gonna do stuff with passion, what's the point, right? That's what it's all about, dude. Noof, speaking of which, you had Goofing with Noof. Let them tell them where they can find you, my dude.
You guys know where to find me, always in the gutter. I think Cletus had something to say here, too.
Oh, shit.
Hey, do you guys know why divorces are so expensive? Because they're fucking worth it. That's why.
Because they're worth it.
Yeah, man, you know where to find me, always in the gutter. Goofing with Noof is generally it's on Tuesday nights following the RDX podcast, which you will find So Shady and various other members as well. Generally when that one wraps up, if I feel the need to do a Goofing with Noof, maybe not every week. Monday nights, obviously, on the Game Dosage podcast with Attack the Glitcher and crew. Glitch has been missing for a while. I was thinking of send out a search party for that motherfucker. And then on Thursday nights, well, as you guys already know, I'm back with Salty and this amazing crew on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast, and I love being here. It was a great show tonight. Cool topics, good guests. Can't get much better than that, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe. Give the old thumbs up button or the old finger up button, whatever works for you. Let's do this. I'm out.
And we have, I'm not going to forget you, dude. Mustache Ride 69, I apologize again, my dude.
Like fucking crickets. I
Should
shouldn't
have
even do a
forgot
chirp.
him.
I feel bad. I feel bad, dude.
Don't feel bad.
When you forget people on topics, man, they block you on Twitter and shit. Like, trust me.
No,
dude.
Salty, that was a true karma thing right there.
Yeah. The universe.
Man, he's got lots of pride. He'll be happy to give you a mustache ride.
Yeah. Let's go, baby.
You can find me on Punkish Gaming.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. I'll fucking actually delete my account. No, you guys can find me on Twitter, Punkish Gaming, Xbox. Whether Nick hates me or not, fuck him. Great show. Talk to you later.
Dang, man.
Nick.
He's raw. He's being raw with you, man.
It's funny how
You want to be a bitch? Be a bitch.
It's funny how Nick follows him up. I didn't plan that, but Nick,
Hope
you have some. you've been dropping videos, and tell them about your live streams, and tell them that you're trying to hit that 1,000 mark. Let's go. Let's get them to the 1,000.
Trying to hit that juicy 1,000 mark, man.
Yep.
So yeah, Nintendo Direct. So recently, I'm just making some video content, pretty much just thinking about different things and get people thinking and starting a discussion. And this recent one I did talked about how Nintendo needs to implement, at least, I mean, just go watch it, some sort of Game Pass situation and start with the retro library if you must, but at least implement something there, because the Nintendo Switch Online is booty right now. And so I made a video like that, and I have another video that I'm thinking about making that's going to be about Microsoft and Xbox, and I'm trying to get a few people to collab on that one. So I'm going to come up with some topics for that, and that one's going to be on the way. I don't know when, though. But other than that, I do the daily live streams where we talk about the daily news, whether it's gaming, anime, whatever, nerdy stuff, and pretty much that's it. So if you think you'll like it, hop over there, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell icon so you know when I go live.
Awesome.
And yeah, thanks.
So I got to everybody, right? Because I can't see this whole screen. So anyway, it's not my fault, all right? Look at the screen down here. I can only see one person talking.
Mustache Ride 69.
So anyway, it's a great episode, guys. I love doing this. Like I said, man, it's the highlight of my week, man. I love doing this shit. Like I'd done it sick. I've only missed like 2 episodes. I think it was my wife's birthday one time and some other time. Anyway, rain, sunshine, it doesn't matter, man. That's the same thing. But we'll be here. Okay, we'll be here for you guys. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for future content. I do a show with Mr. Boomstick here. It's Gaming News at Noon. It rotates channels, so 1 week will be on his, next will be on mine. I believe it's on my channel next week, but yeah, we got content, man. Big plans. Hope you guys like the overlay that I put out there. We're going to try to do some more stuff with that, improve the channel every day, and yeah, just do it for the fun and for gaming. So anyway, we'll see what happens with Bungie. We'll see what happens with all this stuff that we talked about. Hope you guys enjoyed your time. Make sure you guys comment down below on any of the topics. Let us know what you thought of the show, for the good and the bad. And hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell icon. And as always, stay salty, my friends.